New shirts are now available. Gator is a thief and I'm a king. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. Another one D&D. This time I'll be talking about the playtest bard and its subclass College of Lore. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where we only play the bagpipes. A lot changed for bard, but a lot stayed the same too. I'll start off by talking about some of the bigger changes. First is Spartic Inspiration. The main changes are as follows. You have a number of uses equal to your proficiency bonus. Oh my god, how did you know? Anyways, additionally, you start regaining them on a short rest at level 7 instead of 5. And lastly, it's a reaction now. You can give it when someone fails a d20 test or use it to heal someone when they lose HP. I am not a fan of the language of failing a d20 test. I feel there are a lot of situations where you may not have failed a test, but would still prefer a higher result. I also don't like how you can heal someone as a reaction. In play, it would most likely become a way to heal people up when they hit 0, as it's not enough healing to actually be game-changing at any other point of time. And this just means that people become so much sturdier, as they're going to be incredibly hard to finish off. It's already super duper easy for casters to be sturdy in this game, so I don't understand why they're doing this. Second is spellcasting. Bards used to be known casters, meaning that they knew a number of spells and could swap a spell out every level. Things have changed a bit in this UA, and this is twofold. They have actually changed bards into prepared casters. This means you prepare a list of spells, and you can change what you have prepared every day. Though prepared casters seem to have changed in this playtest, instead of being able to prepare a number of spells, which you need to be able to cast, you now prepare spells at each spell level equal to the number of spell slots you have for that level. This is pretty hidden away, but it's actually a big change. Every caster has spell levels with pretty disappointing spells. A big example is the jump from 3rd level spells to 4th level spells. Very often it is actually more beneficial to prepare 3rd level spells than 4th level spells. With this system here, that strategy is not possible. Another consequence is that at higher levels, when you only have one spell slot for a certain spell level, you won't have as much versatility at all. It's a bit better than warlocks with their mystic arcanum, because you can still upcast your spells to those higher levels, but it's still a pretty big change. I wouldn't say this is a massive nerf to casters, or at least bards in this instance, but it's definitely something that will be felt in play. I think it's a good thing. Nerfs will never feel great, but we're at a point where we cannot simply buff the marshals to the level of casters, and need to actually change the power level of both. So why can't we buff marshals up to caster levels? That in itself can be a video. It's super complex and I wouldn't even know how to tackle it. But one of the easy answers is that people don't want it. Here's an example. People got pissed when I pointed out that players can use oversized weapons rules as written. I even underlined the text for them and read it out loud to them, and they still denied it. Do you know why? Because they think it's broken. They obviously don't want big numbers like that in their games. Anyways, we gotta get back to the topic. I can go on forever. Another change to spellcasting is what spells you can actually know or prepare. They get to prepare spells from the arcane spell list from the divination, enchantment, illusion, or transmutation spell schools. Though they also get some spells automatically prepared from other schools as part of their new Songs of Restoration feature, which allows them to still pick up some healing spells, even though they cannot prepare from the Abjuration School of Magic. This means they gain around 40 new spells, but lose about 50. For this, I'm counting spells from Tash's optional feature that gives them more spells. Some big spells that were lost with the change are Command, Unseen Servant, Aid, Dispel Magic, Tiny Hut, Plant Growth, Dimension Door, and Force Cage. But now they can prepare Rope Trick, Phantom Steed, Fly, Contact Other Plane, and Simulacrum. This is pretty interesting. It's kind of hard to say whether this is a win or lose. I do feel like it makes them better in tier 1, where they often struggled. Something else that I noticed is that the playtest doesn't include any text about regaining spell slots. That might just be an error, I have no idea. But back to the spells themselves. Magical secrets have also changed heavily. Instead of choosing spells, you choose a spell list. Arcane, Divine, or Primal. And after choosing that list, you can prepare spells from those options, as you would with other Bard spells. Though no additional preparations. This same process is used 2 more times after the first time you get magical secrets, until you have chosen all lists. Thirdly, they've added some homogeneity between Bard and other classes. Bard now gets 4 subclass features instead of 3, just like other classes. Additionally, they get their subclass features at the same level as the other classes in this playtest. Rogue and Ranger. I guess that's pretty good. I never really understood why it was different between classes. Lastly, they moved around more levels of features. Magical Secrets, for example, is first given out at level 11 instead of 10. That is tier 3. Magical Secrets alone is why you played Bard, and level 10 was already super late. Now it's 11. I hate this change. There's a few more changes, like Jack of all trades no longer working on initiative, and Super Bardic Inspiration getting the slightest of buffs, but nothing insane to talk about. As for the subclass, Lore Bard, their direction has changed quite a bit. They used to be bards that got an additional set of magical secrets before any other bard, but this has been cut in favor of a sort of advantage on Bardic Inspiration rolls. Enjoy the average bonus of +2 at level 15, by the way. Man, I remember the first time I got my hands on magical secrets. And this was before when I wasn't even an optimizer. I spent 4 hours looking at spells, and it was so fun. I do remember what I picked. It was Spirit Guardians and Counterspell. Anyways, the subclass has mostly become one where you hurt your enemies with words instead of being a smarty bard. I understand that the changed magical secrets puts the subclass in a weird spot, but I would have preferred some additional spell preparations to show off that they are ahead in knowledge over other bards, instead of some next to nothing psychic damage and an incredibly small bonus to Bardic Inspiration. So yeah, the new Lore Bard is lame. Anyways, that's mostly it for bards. There are some example spell preps, but it's hard to say anything about them without knowing how the spells have changed. If they haven't, the recommendations are pretty bad. End of video. Next up is Ranger. Thank you for watching. Bye bye!